This is KHQA Overtime with Chris Dewar. Brought to you by Con Communications. This is KHQA. It's your news now.
And this is Saturday, October the 12th, and you have entered overtime. And in this business, these are the days you live for. One pure, nonstop, mainline adrenaline rush from 6 a.m. to 11:30 p.m. that keeps you so busy and engaged that you don't even care or remember, for that matter, that you've had 4 hours sleep and very little to eat. A world where all the dark, terrible things that happen, even this week in our own backyards, fade at least temporarily into light. And we get to talk about kids at play. Today for fun, but also the unspoken promise of just how it ultimately shapes them in far more important pursuits down the road as they become our neighbors, our community leaders, and ultimately parents themselves. Maybe push a little bit back against that darkness. This is what we do, our thing. Celebrating that journey. And in that spirit tonight, we do in fact have very much to celebrate. Let's start you off with district championship softball today, all tied up at 1 between the favored Palmyra Panthers and the Highland Cougars. Leah Baker gets it started though in the 5th inning with a single, and all of a sudden the wheels are in motion. Avery Johnson breaks the deadlock with a single to right. 2-1 Lady Cougars. They're not done yet. Highland feasting. It's like a shark feeding frenzy at this point. Amber Garner right back up the middle. I tell you what, you want to talk about fired up? Check out this young lady, ready to go. She's got the fist clinched. Her team up 3-1. More to come in this one. Taylor Hamilton blasting one back up the middle. All of a sudden, it's 7-1 Highland, and Highland had an 8-1 lead when out in right field, Carly Smith makes a wonderful catch to seal the deal on upset. The Highland Cougars, as hot as anybody, you can call it an upset, although they've played so well of late, I'm not sure this was. They might be the better team right now, and they certainly proved it today. 8-1 victory over Palmyra, district championship for Highland. Congratulations to Paul Cyphers and crew. That's just an unbelievable victory today, and booking passage to the sectional, where coming up on Wednesday it will be a showdown with another upstart, the Louisiana Bulldogs. What a turn of affairs it's been this season as we take a look at that graphic. Highland versus Louisiana. If you would have picked this going into the postseason, everybody would have thought perhaps you were crazy, but that's the way it goes. Wonderful stuff right there. Let's check in with Knox County now as they take on Canton. Unfortunately, we don't have that video yet, so we'll pop that up for you in a second. We'll get to them in a second. I want to tell you that Bowling Green's fine season, though, comes to an end in extra innings today against Warrenton. 4-3 is your final. Brianna Bixby had a home run in that game for the losers in that one. Bowling Green's fine Cinderella run comes to an end. We've got golf to talk about tonight as well. Congratulations to the West Central Cougars who go up to Weematuck Golf Course in Havana, end up finishing 3rd today, which means the Cougars book passage to state, led by Hunter Bettis and Jordan McMillan with 81 and 82 respectively. We also had 3 individuals today qualify for state. They were from Brown County, Ben Hooker, who had himself a really wonderful day today. Also playing very well, the freshman from Pittsfield, Peyton Gordley, with a low score among the individuals. He's a freshman, I mentioned, with an 80 today. And also congratulations to Unity's Will Klusmeyer, who's booking passage to state as well. Well, in the local college gridiron, there is little question right now that Illinois College is the only real e-ticket football experience in the tri-states. The undefeated Blue Boys didn't exactly schedule easy for homecoming today either, pulling in unbeaten Lake Forest, a team that previously to today had only given up 43 total points on defense in 5 games. Midwest Conference supremacy on the line today. The Blue Boys, though, nonplussed about it all. They would start off taking the intrigue out of this game from the very first play of the ball game. I'll tell you what, great strip right here. J.J. Wong ends up with the recovered fumble. He also had 5 tackles in the day. That gives a very short field to Michael Bates and company, and they would go to work instantly. Cecil Brimage, your reigning Midwest Conference Player of the Week, in from 3 yards out. It's 7-0 Blue Boys before you could blink. The defense playing very strong as well in this one. Andy Mills setting up a great defensive stand, as would be the Blue Boys turning over the Foresters on downs. They take the ball back over, and Michael Bates goes back to work. Looking down the sidelines today for Josh Gentile. Great catch. Fumbling it, grabbing it, rumbling it, somehow caressing it, and putting it in his hands to get that set up. And then on the very next play, Bates doing what he does, buying time and looking for Kevin Fuller. Marvelous touchdown pass to extend the Blue Boy lead at that point to 14-0. The defense, as I said, continued to torment the Foresters all day long. The big fella, Billy Fella, coming up in the middle and being a part of that tackle for loss at that point. And then on the ensuing possession, look at the little under move and the jump right here by Josh Gentile, hurdling people like mad in this one to keep this possession going. That would set up Cecil Brimage yet again, one of his 3 touchdowns on the day. Heck, the kid may repeat as your Midwest Conference Offensive Player of the Week. He had 137 yards rushing today, and the 3 touchdowns made it 20-0. He might get competition from Michael Bates, who had 308 yards passing and 3 touchdowns in his own right. The defense pretty darn good, as I mentioned. Kurt Frischman, all-conference pick, shows you why right there with a tackle for the 7-yard loss. And for the second straight game, Zach Hamlin with an interception. This thing turned into a rout and a laugher very early in the process. 55-7. I'll tell you what, Illinois College is very much for real with that victory today. Other local college football to tell you about today. Bob Nielsen's Western Illinois Leathernecks trying to bounce back from an ugly loss last week at Illinois State. Down 17-0 after the first quarter. Second quarter was better. J.C. Baker in place of the sick and injured and not available today, Nico Watson. That's a 34-yard pickup to set up the first score of the game for the Leathernecks. J.C. Baker, in fact, would have 2 touchdowns. This one from 3 yards out. Bright spots otherwise, there weren't many of them, although locally, gotta love the Holschlag twins, both of whom, this is Eddie, Chip had one later, both of whom had quarterback sacks today. But that's about all we can glean for this, is the Western Illinois Leathernecks lose their second straight. They end up losing today by the final count in this one of 38-14. How about Quincy University? Would the news be better for the Hawks on this day? Taking on St. Joseph's and trying to bounce back from a very lackluster opening last week to GLVC conference play, down 14-0 early in this game. The Hawks would finally get something going, and when they did, they started playing much better. Probably after a, 5-quarter slump. This is Quincy University getting it going. It's Nick Lonergan finding his rhythm, hooking up here with Jared Sargent. That would set up Brian Watkins from 23 yards away. Makes it 14-3 at that point. Lonergan, though, just warming up, working again and finding some space on the sidelines, attacking there. Here to Jared Sargent to loosen up the defense. Then it's Justin Dickens, his primary receiver. Great grab, another first down, and that sets up this from 20 yards away. It's Sargent wide open. Lonergan finds him, and that cuts the lead to 14-9. Quincy University hung around the entire game, but down the stretch could not close out a very good St. Joseph's team. Quincy University loses, kind of a heartbreaker today, especially given the effort they got coming back in this one. 34-26 was your final. Couple of other college scores to pass along today of interest and of note. Baker today destroys Culver Stockton. Final count in that one was 39-0, sort of a regression for Culver Stockton. McMurray really struggling today. They were down at the half, 35-3, so they decide to insert the local product, the freshman quarterback Coy Dorothy out of West Hancock. And what a day Coy Dorothy had. He came off the bench today, rushed for 111 yards and 2 touchdowns. Also went 7 of 15 passing for 137 yards and a touchdown as well. And it looks like this kid may have won a job. So monitor McMurray. I tell you what, if he's starting, we'll be bringing you highlights soon of the next home game McMurray plays. Also today, big news on the local front for former Bushnell Prairie City Avon product. That would be Trey Yoakum, who ends up today breaking Monmouth's all-time school rushing record today, as Monmouth ends up with a big-time win over Grinnell. Final on that one was 65-3. Trey Yoakum today with 129 yards rushing and 3 touchdowns in that one. Also, Stephen Flynn out of Illini West, big day as well, had a receiving touchdown. Ace Hendricks with a couple of field goals and extra points as well. And we are just getting warmed up here on the Big Overtime Show. When we return, Knox County tries to make it 2 in a row in terms of softball district titles. Also got a really special Seeds of Greatness for you, and some volleyball, some soccer, all sorts of goodies coming up next when Overtime rolls on. $60, Jordan. 1360. 10, 12E 1360. Let's lead with that. Next one on this one, I think, is con. Yes, and then straight from this VO to Quincy High Volleyball. So VO to VO. 15. Thank you.
You're watching KHQA Overtime with Chris Dewar. Brought to you by Con Communications.
Oh, we didn't forget about you, Knox County Lady Eagles, trying to win your second straight district title, taking on Canton. All about Knox County, already up 5-0. This is Shanna Elder putting the ball in play. Canton kind of boots it, and that allows another run to score. Then Sky Bew, Sky in this ball for a double, scores a pair of runs at that point. All of a sudden, the lead is commanding at 7-0. The defense really good as well in this one. It's Gabby Shahanan right there with a beautiful double play as she helps turn that. And then Amy Goodhouse working some magic at first base as well. The defense really good behind Lauren Dale today, who had herself a handful of strikeouts yet again on this day. Dominant on the hill. That's what Lauren Dale does. She also had a home run very early in this game. I believe it was a 3-run job to kind of push the initial lead. I'll tell you what, Knox County has been a fire of late, and they are going to go into the sectional very much so again today, getting the big-time victory in this one. 10-0 was your final. I tell you what, you win in 5 innings with the 10-inning rule in a district. You're playing some great softball. So congratulations to the Canton Lady Tigers on a great season, but to the Knox County Lady Eagles on pushing it forward, trying to get their way back to state. We've got volleyball for you as well today out at KNL, Quincy High Invitational. Early action today, Quincy High taking on Macomb. Monica Bumbry setting the tone early, not only with some defense, but with some great killage action as well. Macomb, though, trying to answer back in this one. Audrey Meixner, she can flat jump. She gets up, gets the block, and ends up getting the side out for the Bombers. Still way too much at Quincy High School in this particular early morning matchup. Malia Blakemore, that is a setter dump done to perfection. Knocks that in. Then Katie Heining doing her thing as well today. How about the little tap down action off the, first of all, great service right there from Whitney Buss for the ace. Here comes Katie Heining off another Whitney Buss service, taking advantage of the return air right there, and then more Whitney's Buss to finish game number 1. Quincy High School goes all the way to the championship game today, but ends up finishing in second place to a really good Springfield squad. We'll stick with the highlights right here, and we'll show you that Springfield squad in action against Liberty, who played very well, winning the bronze pool today. Great little bit of up-court front net dominance right here to be shown by Courtney Klingel again against the team that ultimately won this thing very early in the morning. And Madeline Heyer doing her thing as well with a big kill. But Liberty, as you may imagine, lost in this early morning session to a really, really good Springfield team. We'll stick with it for one more set of highlights here. Jacksonville taking on Southeast today. Abby Tomhave serving out strong for the Lady Crimsons in this one as she got the ace going early. Then it is Jalen Keene, the future Illinois State signee, getting the job done with the blockage action right there. Jacksonville shows out very well as well today. Does some great things, including a big-time victory against Hannibal today. There you had it. Plenty of good volleyball to be had there. Also today up at the Monmouth tournament, where Illini West gets felled by Southeastern in the third place game of that eventual tournament. 21-15, 21-14 was your final there. Also can tell you a score you don't see there. Holy Trinity today finishes second up in Southeast Iowa in a loaded tournament as well. Michaela Fecky with 54 kills on the day, so she continues to just absolutely destroy everyone who crosses her path. We've got soccer for you now as well. Quincy High School on the road at Columbia Hickman today, already up 2-0 right out of the second half. It's Hunter Hosher, and that, my friends, is the very definition of a breakaway goal. Beautiful stuff from Mr. Hosher as he taps that in to extend the lead out to 3-0. Blake Wingirter today with a hat trick. Chris Clay, Aubrey Dissler also added goals, and Hickman kicked an own goal on themselves. 7-0 Blue Devil dominance as they prepare to host Hannibal coming up on Monday as the regular season draws to a close for them. The regular season is over for Quincy Notre Dame, and after a rough go of it yesterday against Normal Community, Quincy Notre Dame bounces back and fights hard for a tie today against East Moline. Evan Riggs, Tanner Zanger, both with the goals today in that game for Greg Reese's squad. And again, postseason, I believe, starts on Wednesday. Big one coming up for Quincy Notre Dame as they try to rebound and get things going. Open it up with Beardstown, I believe, if memory serves right. Let's talk cross country today. Always fun at the Liberty Invitational, what passes for a cornfield most of the year. Today, great track. On the girls' side, it's Carly Garnett out of Illini West out of the gate first. Liberty's Caitlin Obert and Jackie Graham right behind her. And then Quincy High School freshman sensation Charlie Wollaston, all getting out of the gate very strong in this one. But by the time they popped up at the 2-mile mark, it would be Caitlin Obert running on her home track and running exceptionally well today as she would take the lead at that point, and she's going to hold off a charge from Garnett. These two have waged war all season long, and it has been impressive and fun to watch if you like the cross country. Eventually, though, on her home track, Caitlin Obert not going to be beat. She fires in at 19:13 to win this thing today. 5 seconds behind, it would be Miss Carly Garnett out of Illini West. She finishes today with a time of 19:18. Illini West finished second as a team today. Mariah Brody comes in at 20:01. That gives Illini West a second and third place finish. But here's how Liberty won the team title. They take third place behind Jackie Graham. I should say fourth place behind Jackie Graham. Megan Berry takes fifth place. Katie Cook takes sixth place. That's pretty impressive. And then following that up, Illini West Morgan Groth comes in at finishes in this one at seventh place. And then Charlie Wollaston comes in at eighth place. Again, first place for Liberty as a team, second place for Illini West as a team, third place for Quincy High on the girls' side. Boys' side now, Liberty and St. Dominic's, the favorites coming into this thing. Brett Genenbacher, who's leading the pack for the Liberty Eagles in this one, trying to lead his team to victory. Although the medalist duel in this thing would turn out to be between this guy, Nathan Cook of St. Dominic, and of course Quincy Notre Dame's Luke Watson, trying to track him down, doing his best to keep pace with this really quick kid. Watson ends up having to settle today for second place in a time of 16:21. In third place, Wendell Bias finishing strong out of Quincy High School, trying to track down yet another St. Dominic runner. Good showing for him. And then the aforementioned Brett Genenbacher leads Liberty to a team victory today, coming in sixth place with a time of 17:09. Liberty finishes first. It's St. Dominic finishing second, and Quincy High School finishing third on the day in cross country. And speaking of Liberty cross country, big news at the junior high school level, I should say, as Liberty is headed back to state. No surprise with this dominant powerhouse. Caitlin Robbins, who we featured on Seeds of Greatness a couple of weeks ago, ends up winning medalist honors and just with a scorching time going into state. The girls from Liberty finished second overall. The boys finished third. Again, Jeff Ober's teams, both of them headed off to state. That dynasty continues to roll along and roll along very nicely. Well, time now on Overtime to get the connection as we have Play of the Month business to attend and the closing of the book for the September sports schedule. After a week's worth of voting at connecttristates.com, your pick is the signature moment. The Con Communication Connection of the Month goes to, drumroll please, South Shelby Sydney Weir with the clean and jerk hit against Monroe City. This, my friends, is how you perform a proper tackle. The big linebacker throwing down. He and his company, apparently South Shelby got out the vote because they ran away with this thing. So congratulations to him. And of course, as we mentioned earlier, if you vote, you have a chance to win. And we have a winner. Congratulations to Heather Coots, who is from Shelbina. Wins the random drawing for the prize package from Con Communications. Thank you for all who participated. So we've got that done. Let us start a new month, and we start off with a bang. History-making shot yesterday from the Louisiana Bulldogs, and more particularly from this young lady, Caitlin Bolton, who went yard in the first inning to spot her team a 2-0 lead, one that the Louisiana Bulldogs would not relinquish in taking their first ever district title in softball. Really a wonderful moment for Miss Caitlin Bolton. Caitlin Bolton, I did that yesterday too. Not an easy name to say, but well-deserved of repeat mention over and over again as Caitlin gets the home run. I tell you what, we'll have other nominees, but this is a very good one. And congratulations again to Louisiana and to Highland for kind of shocking the world. They will meet again on Wednesday in sectional play, and that, my friend, should be an awful lot of fun. That among the many postseason highlights coming your way here on KHQA in the next couple of days. And when we come back, we'll put the spotlight on the next generation of area sports with our Seeds of Greatness special one tonight, story of a young man who's really kind of emerged from a really interesting and unique medical issue when he was young to become a superstar. That story coming up next. And welcome back, everybody, to Overtime and one of our favorite new features, the Seeds of Greatness. Our focus this week is on the Tri-State Basketball Futures Market, and in that spirit, I'd like to introduce you to the newest Quincy Notre Dame Raider tonight, a young man whose unique skill set is as unique and rare as the battle he's fought just to stand on the basketball court, let alone now excel on it.
Seeds of Greatness brought to you by Burris Hybrids.
Yeah, he came in, he's got the basketball knowledge, he's got a great IQ for the game. He's got a lot of talent, shoots the ball well, handles the ball well, you know, and being 6'3" as a freshman doesn't hurt.
My strengths are probably my ability to shoot and my post moves, definitely. And like turning my weaknesses into strength is something I've become very good at.
He is as accomplished a young prospect as you will find anywhere in Tri-State basketball. Why, just last year as an 8th grader, Justin Botteroff helped lead Brown County to a 24-4 record and an IESA Final Four appearance while averaging 16 points and 8 rebounds per game. He also just happened to steal a ball late, transition, and hit the game-winning bucket from the top of the key in last year's 3rd place game. Suffice it to say, Justin's game is strong. So much so, to look at him, especially on the court, you'd never realize this Q&D freshman is also a cancer survivor.
It made me realize that, I mean, life can be taken away just like that, and to always be thankful.
When he was just 3.5 years old, Justin was diagnosed with a stage 3 Wilms tumor on his kidney. His surgery and the ensuing chemo and radiation treatments worked, and Justin has been in remission now for more than a decade. But 10 years didn't blunt the trauma, even for someone who was so young at the time.
Surprisingly, I actually remember a lot of it. I mean, a lot of small details, and I mean, some of them, yeah, it's things I really don't want to remember, but I do, and I mean, I remember the good and bad parts of it.
He's a kid that just battles. He fights. You know, he's out here playing against juniors and seniors, and you know, he just has that will to win and the desire to do well. So, you know, he has gone through a lot, and you know, we're very excited at Notre Dame to have him.
Coach Sheffield kind of described you as a fighter. Do you think that kind of had the process with it, that is kind of part of where your toughness comes from?
Yeah, definitely. It took a lot of patience and long time waiting, and I mean, just doing stuff you didn't really want to do. I mean, always having to go in and get tests took in and shots and stuff. You never want to do that, and I mean, it took a lot of toughness to get through it.